Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. So today, we're going to be looking at a little bit of the old Galvantula. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Galvantula is back, and I must confess I cannot remember who it was. But somebody did say in one of the comment sections of one of my videos recently, it's about time for a new Galvantula, I'm calling it. If you were that person, good job, you actually did call it. Consider me proud of you. This Galvantula's really interesting, ladies and gentlemen. I really like this one. Which is weird, right? Because it's Galvantula. I mean, there's a lot of stuff not to like about it. The 90 HP is just gosh darned low, to be perfectly honest with you. Then you add in the weakness to fighting, and either of the Buzzwole, as long as they've got a Dynasty Prism Star on the field, which unless it's prized, they will have a Dynasty Prism Star on the field, will be hitting you for 100, you will be going down, sad face, etc. Boo! Never mind. These things happen. And then we've got a retreat cost of 1 that I do like very much indeed, because you attack for 1 energy, you can already see that. And we've got Escape Board, which will give you free retreat, and that's quite nice. And the resistance to metal isn't amazing, you're not going to do much with that. But I don't know, maybe at some point someone comes along with a decent metal Pokemon. Either way, it's nice to have a resistance, though it doesn't really avoid any key numbers at the moment. And it's a lightning Pokemon, and lightning Pokemon are good right now. You've got Thunder Mountain, which reduces the attack cost of your lightning Pokemon's attacks by 1 lightning energy. And we've got Zeraora, which gives free retreat to any lightning Pokemon, or I should say, any Pokemon with lightning energy attached, whether they're lightning or not. We've got Electro Power, which says that your lightning Pokemon do 30 more to the active during this turn. And then we just looked the other day at Electric Charger, I want to say it was called, which lets you flip 2 coins, and for each heads, you get to put an Electro Power back into your deck. This is nice. It's good to be a lightning Pokemon right now. And as for Galvantula, it's got a nice ability. If your opponent plays an item or a supporter card from their hand, prevent all effects of that card done to this Pokemon. It essentially means that your opponent can't do anything with items or supporters to Galvantula. One of the most important of these would be Guzma. Your opponent cannot drag a Guzma, or cannot use a Guzma to drag this into the active. It's basically like the old Omega Barrier that we saw on Regirock. I mean, look, there were other Pokemon, but I'm a Regirock dude, so we're talking Regirock, ladies and gentlemen. The old Omega Barrier just prevented effects of trainer cards. This does as well. Any item or supporter stops it going in. Your opponent cannot drag this off the bench using a Guzma. That's quite nice. Now, maybe they might not want to, but regardless, it's not an option that they would have. And then there's just a few little other things. Maybe Crushing Hammer is a card they want to play. Well, they can't anymore, ladies and gentlemen. Now, do remember the rulings. If this is in the active and your opponent Guzma's a Pokemon off the bench, that will work, because the effect of Guzma is on your benched Pokemon, not on the Galvantula, ergo it would switch out the active. But then by the same token, if your opponent were to play an Escape Rope, they would not actually be able to do that, because the effect of Escape Rope is on Galvantula. But if your Galvantula's on the bench and your opponent plays an Escape Rope on your active, then that would switch the active, and if you only had Galvantula on your bench, they would be forced into the active. That would work. This isn't the kind of ability you would use in and of itself. It's not a reason to play the card without a good attack. But if you're playing the card anyway, or there are attacks that make you want to play the card, and I for one think there probably is here, more on that in just a moment, although do remember in all of my videos I put timestamps in the description, and lovely people copy it into the comments for mobile users, whereby you can always just flip straight to the attacks and abilities if you so wish. So there is going to be a good attack. This is a nice bonus ability, and it's nothing more than that. When we saw Primal Groudon was made better by Omega Barrier, but it also did 200 damage. Omega Barrier gave it the speed it needed, or I should say the breathing space because it had no speed. But that's about it. It was the attack that made it good. So what attack do we have on Galvantula here? Well, according to the lovely David Hochmann, who has of course provided our translations for this particular Pokemon, as he does in most of our videos to be fair, 40 damage for 1 lightning energy, put any 1 card from your discard pile into your hand. It is universal recovery, and I love universal recovery. Now, sad news here, you can't use it to get back a Thunder Mountain, because it's a Prism Star and that goes straight to the Lost Zone. Similarly, you cannot use it to get back a Tapu Koko, because that's a Prism Star and it goes straight to the Lost Zone. And they are probably 2 of the cards you would most want to get back. Tapu Koko's ability says you can put it from the bench into the Lost Zone and then attach 1 lightning energy from your discard to each of 2 bench Pokemon. So it would be awesome if you could get those back, but you can't because they're Prism Stars. But universal recovery is just not something we see very often. Now, we have got some examples of it at the moment. We've got Gardevoir, whose GX attack lets you put 10 cards from your discard pile into your deck. And we've got both Decidueye and Bayonet who have the exact same GX attack, that for 1 energy, I say exact same, Bayonet's for a psychic energy, and Decidueye's for a grass. But other than that, it's the same. It's the same. That let you take 3 cards from your discard pile and put them into your hand. And then if you're playing a fairy deck, we've got Diantha, which is a really nice card. That if you had a fairy Pokemon KO during the previous turn, lets you get 2 cards from your discard pile into your hand. But I'm hoping at this stage you can all look at that and go, oh, that's quite... Oh, no, wait a second. You've got to have had a fairy Pokemon KO during the previous turn. That's not particularly great. And we're in a situation now where Puzzle of Time has rotated out. And if you look at stuff like Special Energy, Special Charge has rotated out. And for supporters, we've got Lusamine. Well, that's your supporter for the turn, which is kind of a pain, and kind of ironic given that you're using a supporter to get back supporters that you want later on. Or we've got Palpad, which will take those supporters, but puts them back into your deck, and then you may not be able to draw back into them, whereas Galvantula puts it straight back into your hand. And if you want another reason why this is particularly timely at the moment, we're moving into a format where we don't have N. Sure, we've still got Judge, and some people are playing that. And sure, we've got Marshadow, and some people are playing that. But we don't have that same level of I'm going to wreck your hand every turn that we had when N was around. So we've now got Universal Recovery in a format where we are lacking recovery cards, at least for some types of card, in a format where we're much less likely to have our hand disrupted than we were before. Anyone else thinking this might be pretty good right now? I'm a fan of this. Now, sure, we can all point out downsides. It's a stage 1. Stage 1 is far from ideal. We don't really want the stage 1 here, because it means you've got to play the Joltik and the Galvantula. You've got to take a turn to evolve it up. That's a little bit of a pain. Sorry about that. And similarly, it's only doing 40 damage. But when I say only doing 40 damage, you got to remember that we got Choice Band, obviously. It's a non-GX, so we got Shrine of Punishment, and it's a Lightning Pokemon, so we've got Electro Power. And certainly if you're playing, say, an Ampharos deck, Ampharos has got an amazing attack for 1 Lightning Energy, which does 30 damage, but it gets all of your Electro Power from your discard pile into your hand. So if you're playing an Ampharos deck, there's nothing here to stop you just using all of these on Galvantula, knowing you can get them back with Ampharos later. And actually, if you play 4 Electro Power and a Choice Band, that's 150. And then with this, you're up to 190. That's already carrying something like a Buzzwole. And then you could use Shrine of Punishment, and you're up to 200 damage. And you're getting something like an Alolan Ninetales. And no, I don't think that's over the top here. I don't think that's entirely unrealistic, because we've got Electro Power, we've got Ampharos, and we've got Electric Charger to get it back. Everyone's playing Choice Band and Shrine of Punishments everywhere. The thing about Lightning Pokemon at the moment is, you might look at it and go, 40 damage. 40 damage isn't 40 damage for Lightning decks right now. 40 damage is, 200 time you add in 4 Electro Power, a Choice Band, and a Shrine of Punishment. And I know that sounds unrealistic, and I know that sounds like no one's ever going to do it, guarantee people are going to end up doing that, and when they do, they're going to win games. I'm not saying it's going to happen every game, but I am saying it's going to happen some games. And oh yeah, let's get back to this whole universal recovery thing, because you might be out of Guzma, and you might know that one Guzma will guarantee you the win next turn. So you play Galvantula, you guarantee you've got that Guzma. And if your opponent doesn't have a Judge or a Marshadow, you win the game next turn. Now, in terms of special energy, this is great for recovering special energy, but the reality is you're probably not going to be able to have this for many decks, because lightning decks don't tend to play special energy, which is kind of sucky. Maybe you're playing a counter energy deck, so you play a little bit of rainbow energy and you use this to get some counter energy back. But either way, this has all of the bonuses of being a lightning Pokemon, giving up one prize, having a nice ability, and it's got an attack which is universal recovery if you're playing lightning energy. I'm giving Galvantula free Wassies. That honestly, to me at the moment, sounds like I'm being a little bit stingy. It's probably worth a little bit more than that. I like this very much indeed. I would consider myself a fan of Galvantula. Plus I have many tarantulas at home, so you know, there we go. But I want to know what you think about Galvantula, so do please let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, but do remember the rule. Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do just that. But by far the most important thing, as always, also check out Wassie Plays Transformers TCG. It's great. It's to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.